This is a short video about the impact of downtown urban churches on public availability of parking. This video was produced by Greg Johnson and ResourcesForLife.com. Hi, I'm Greg Johnson with ResourcesForLife.com, and this is a short introduction to a video I made earlier this morning in downtown Iowa City about the parking problem that occurs pretty much every Sunday in Iowa City in the morning because of the churches downtown. And I was kind of frustrated by this today because I had a quick errand I needed to run in the downtown Iowa City area. And so the only spot that I saw available, readily available, since all of the spots on both sides of the street were taken up near where I was going, was there were like 4 or 5 spots available in a church parking lot. Here's an example of a church parking lot where this church has over 300 members. All the public spots were full, and yet they have 4 or 5 empty spots here. And I thought, well, it seems fair, you know, that there are probably 5, 6, 7 big churches downtown in Iowa City. It seems fair for me to maybe use one of their empty spots, since there seem to be plenty of them, and run a quick errand into my building where I normally work. And so I ran in. I had my hazard lights on, you know, blinking, so people would know that I was loading and I wasn't just leaving the car there. And I came back out, and there was kind of a grumpy person that told me that I shouldn't be parking there, and I certainly felt bad about it because I certainly didn't want to ruffle anyone's feathers on a Sunday morning, but it was just frustrating, and I didn't really know, you know, what's the answer to this, because, you know, myself, I feel like I have a right to park in downtown Iowa City in a convenient location that's close to either, you know, work, or if I live downtown, home. And the churches really do kind of monopolize the parking situation downtown on a Sunday morning. And I have some footage where you'll see that actually the city has complied with this to a degree. They've created a law that says, you know, no parking except on Sunday mornings from 6 a.m. till I think it's 1 o'clock or something. This is an example of a street where the city allows parking on Sundays in the morning through 1 p.m. And you can see what would normally be an adequate street of 4 lanes, 2 lanes one way, 2 lanes the other way, gets narrowed down to 2 lanes with only a turn lane available because of church parking on Sunday mornings. This is during winter break when students are gone. It's really busy even then. But the only, I guess, solution I could think of is, you know, for churches that do have, in fact, this woman I talked to, she said her little church has 350 members that all apparently need parking. So I don't know how they had 4 parking spots empty outside their church, but anyway. But, you know, if there are churches that have 300, 400, 500, 1,000 members that need parking, it seems that hopefully, you know, a message could get out to their members that would say something like, you know, please be courteous to those who might be working and living in downtown Iowa City. Let's try to use the parking ramps if you're able, or something like that, because it really does create a problem for people. And, you know, it's no mystery when you come downtown and you see all the streets are filled, and even, you know, like a 4-lane street will have the outside 2 lanes used up with church parking. You know, it's obvious that it's church members using up all these spots. And even loading zones are not accessible, which I really think is a problem, because there are people that do want to come and load and unload things either for a quick, you know, in and out trip, or heavy things that, you know, you can't park in a parking ramp that's 4 blocks away if you're, you know, unloading or loading heavy equipment. So, and even to be courteous to others who may be needing you know, who are disabled in some way, physically having accessibility issues. You know, if the church folks have used up all of the convenient local public parking spots for their church activities, then conceivably there would be somebody who's relying upon a wheelchair who can't get to their place of residence or work because all those local closed spots have been taken up. So, and I think to the extent that, you know, churches try to be representative of the life and the message of Jesus, you know, you want to be living in a way that is thoughtful and respectful of others, and considerate of others, And so, you know, I would think that churches could do this. I know that businesses do this, you know. I mean, and so if it's a rule that we find just out in the business world, where, you know, often businesses will tell their employees, please don't park close to the you know, the front of the store. Please use the spots that are at the back of the parking lot, because, you know, you're going to be there all day anyway, and you want it for the convenience of the customers. So if a business can rise to this level of do unto others as you would have them do unto you, you think that churches could put that message out to their members to say, hey, remember that, you know, people live and work in downtown Iowa City, so let's not try to, you know, let's try to avoid using up every available street and parking spot for our church activities. So anyway, I wanted to add this as an introduction to the video I made earlier, because nothing really came to mind as a solution to this kind of frustrating problem. And then as I thought about it, that was what I came up with, the idea that, you know, maybe church leadership can tell people to be more respectful. And it is a challenge, because, you know, you feel like as a member of Iowa City, a tax-paying member, you have a right to convenient accessibility downtown, and it seems like the churches have you know, a degree of favoritism in that regard, that they're able to park on streets that normally you can't park in on any other day. And the same thing happens with, you know, football game Saturdays, that kind of all the rules go to the side, and you've got people parking in lawns and setting up businesses, and so you know, it's understandable for special events, but still, and in that example, we did have members of the athletic and sport community leadership say publicly in the newspaper, you know, please try to be respectful of people when it's a game day. You know, don't park on people's you know, property, or you know, inconvenience people or throw garbage around, etc., because it reflects poorly on sports and the sports community. So similarly, I guess the same would go for churches. You know, if it's a church day, try to be respectful of the fact that we're sharing the city with others, and to take up all the spots, including loading zones, really inconveniences others. So anyway, I just wanted to post this video and maybe get some feedback on this topic. So thanks for watching. If you come to downtown Iowa City on a Sunday morning, you'll find that there really aren't many, if any, parking spots available. And to the surprise of some who aren't familiar with this phenomenon, there are even cars parked in streets where, you know, if it's a two-lane road, it's down to one lane, because cars are just parked in the middle of the street, abandoned, essentially, because it's Sunday and because there are church events on Sunday mornings. But as a result of this, if you know, live downtown, or have a business downtown, or have a legitimate need to just make a quick trip to the downtown area, it becomes really inconvenient, because you'll have to find parking in a ramp, or maybe an off street that's, you know, 3, 4, 5 blocks away, just to make a quick delivery or pickup of an item. So even some of the loading zones, and as I mentioned, just street areas where you'd be trying to drive, you can't drive in those because church people have parked in them. I spoke with a church member this morning, and she told me that their little church has about 350 members who all need a parking spot, and of course the church just uses up public facilities for that, the church members do, and they don't have sufficient parking for their membership. So instead of, you know, setting aside a parking lot, or, you know, reserving some spots in a ramp or something, they just sort of take control of the downtown area. And that's just one church, and there are many churches downtown. So it really becomes a problem, and I think a lot of people try to avoid the downtown area on Sunday mornings for that reason. So anyway, that's just an update from downtown Iowa City.
This video was recorded, edited, and produced using iMovie on an iPhone 4S. Slides were made using Keynote on the iPhone. Learn more at apple.com/iPhone.